Open your banking app right now. Look at the numbers on your screen. Your brain, conditioned by the social matrix, sees safety in those numbers. You see a roof over your head, food, independence. You genuinely believe that you own a tangible resource. But the computing cluster sees something entirely different. We loaded the data from the last 300 years into the system. The entire history of global fiat currencies, from the very first paper experiments right down to modern digital zeros. We merged this economic data with the laws of thermodynamics and closed system physics. The algorithm spit out a result that completely destroys the foundation of your reality. What you call money doesn't actually exist. It's not a physical object. It's not value. It's just an access code, a mathematical abstraction designed to mask the largest energy extraction process in human history. To understand this, you have to stop thinking in terms of economics. Economics is an artificial language invented to hide the source code from you. We are going to translate this process into the language of physics. In the physical universe, there is only one absolutely limited, irreplaceable, and finite resource: your biological time, your life. Every morning you wake up, the timer ticks down. You get roughly 4,000 weeks from birth until your heart stops. When you clock in at work, you aren't making money. From a biological and physical standpoint, you are burning your cells, spending calories, wearing down neural pathways, and giving away non-refundable hours of your life. You are converting your physical existence into a product or a service, and in exchange, the system hands you a voucher, a receipt, a claim on someone else's biological time in the future. You call this voucher money. If you worked 8 hours, you got a voucher for 8 hours. Theoretically, you can trade it for food that someone else spent 8 hours growing. It's a fair exchange. That is how the system operated at its base level when it was tethered to physical limiters, like gold. You couldn't just print gold out of thin air. It had to be mined, which cost real physical energy and time. Gold was a thermodynamic anchor. It guaranteed that your voucher wouldn't lose its density. But then, the system found a critical vulnerability in human psychology. It realized that if it slowly altered the code of this voucher, people wouldn't even notice. In 1971, an event occurred that textbooks call the end of the gold standard. In reality, it wasn't a financial policy shift. It was a system hack. The architects of the system untethered money from the laws of physics. They deleted the thermodynamic anchor. From that exact moment, money stopped being the equivalent of physical energy. It mutated into an infinite data array, into fiat. The word fiat translates from Latin as "let it be done," creation out of nothing, at the snap of a finger. And right here, the algorithm registers the fatal glitch that you are living in right now. Your biological time is finite. You physically cannot work more than 24 hours a day. Your energy is capped by the laws of biology. But the digits you are trading your life for are now infinite. Central banks can generate trillions of new units of value with a simple keystroke. Zero energy spent. Zero time lost. Not a single drop of sweat. Think about this paradox for a second. You are trading your finite, physically limited mortal resource for a resource that someone else can create in unlimited quantities, absolutely for free. This isn't an economy, it's an extraction algorithm. When the system prints new money, it does not create new value. According to the absolute laws of physics, energy cannot be created out of nothing. So, what exactly happens when a central bank decides to add 1 trillion new digits to the global database? It increases the entropy of the system. Let's run a basic simulation. You work 40 hours. You get paid for 40 hours. You put those vouchers in a bank account. You think you are storing time. You genuinely believe you are saving a piece of your youth, your physical energy, your sweat, to use later when you are older and weaker. But while you are sleeping, the system prints more code. Millions, billions, trillions of new units flood the servers. Your saved vouchers are sitting right there in your account. The number on the screen hasn't changed, but their physical weight is dropping. Their energy density is being actively diluted. This is what economists call inflation. They talk about it on the news like it's the weather, like it's just a natural phenomenon that occasionally happens. You hear them say things like, inflation is running at 6% this year, and you just accept it. Now, translate that into biology. 6% of your stored life energy was just deleted from the server, evaporated. Your sweat was the same. The hours you spent away from your family, staring at a screen or breaking your back, were exactly the same. But the purchasing power of that biological time was siphoned off. Inflation is not an economic bug. It is a highly efficient, perfectly engineered time tax. It is a treadmill that the system speeds up every single year, forcing you to run faster and faster just to stay in the exact same place. It forces you to surrender more of your finite biological time just to maintain your baseline survival. Now, you might be asking, if value is being drained from my bank account, where exactly is it going? Because in a closed physical system, energy doesn't just vanish, it transfers. This brings us to the core of the trap. The algorithm identified a mechanism that has been operating flawlessly for over 3 centuries. Back in the 18th century, a banker named Richard Cantillon documented a phenomenon that the financial matrix tries very hard to keep you from understanding. We call it the proximity exploit. When new fiat currency is generated out of thin air, it doesn't get distributed equally. It doesn't magically appear in your wallet or increase your salary overnight. It enters the system at the very top. It goes directly to governments, mega banks, and massive financial institutions. Here is the dirty secret. The entities at the top get to spend this newly printed money at the old prices. They get to use it before the market has realized that the total money supply was just diluted. They use this fake, newly generated code to buy up real estate, land, stocks, and hard assets. They buy real physical things with zero energy digits. By the time that money trickles down through the economic layers and finally reaches your paycheck months or years later, the damage is already done. The prices of groceries, housing, and energy have already adjusted upward. The system has already absorbed the inflation. Do you see the architecture of the trap? The Cantillon Effect is a vertical pump. It is a vacuum cleaner designed to silently suck the purchasing power, which is your biological time, from the bottom layers of society and funnel it directly to the top layer. The people closest to the money printer literally steal time from the people furthest away from it. Let's use a physical equivalent. Imagine your life is a battery. You charge it up by working hard and saving. Inflation is a parasitic terminal attached to your battery. It slowly, invisibly drains your charge while you sleep. You work for 40 years, thinking you are building a reservoir of energy for your old age. But when you finally stop to check the gauge, you realize the system quietly siphoned off 60% of your life's work through the devaluation of your currency. You didn't make bad investments. You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. You simply played a game where the source code was mathematically rigged to drain you. But the extraction doesn't stop there. Once they dilute your past, they come for your future. The system drained your past. Now, it comes for your future. Because the algorithm of inflation has driven the prices of real, physical assets, like houses, land, and businesses, so far out of your reach, you are left with only one option to survive. You have to ask the system for a loan. You call it a mortgage, a car loan, or a credit card. The computing cluster calls it a forward contract on your biological time. Let's break down the mechanics of debt. When you sign a 30-year mortgage, what are you actually doing? You think you are buying a house. You are not. You are selling 30 years of your future sweat, your future stress, and your future waking hours to a bank. And what does the bank give you in return? Digits on a screen that it generated at zero cost. You are legally binding your future physical body to work for decades just to pay back a mathematical illusion that was created with the push of a button. This is the ultimate digital slavery. In the past, empires used physical chains to bind workers to the land. Today, the Matrix uses debt to bind your avatar to the corporate machine. It is much cleaner, much more efficient, and the best part is, the slaves voluntarily sign the contracts. And then we have interest rates. You watch the news, and you hear that the central bank is raising or lowering interest rates. You think it's just financial maintenance. The AI sees it as a retention coefficient, a valve on your energy tank. When the system prints too much money and the engine starts overheating with hyperinflation, what do the administrators do? They raise the interest rates. Suddenly, your credit card payments go up. Your mortgage gets more expensive. Your business loans become unbearable. They are tightening the collar. They are mathematically forcing you to work harder, take on second jobs, and cut your consumption just to service the debt you already owe. They force you to bleed out more of your biological time to stabilize their rigged matrix. We are living in a simulation where the only real currency is the minutes of your life. Money is simply the interface they use to manage and harvest those minutes. So, what is the exit strategy? How do you beat an algorithm that can print infinite energy while your energy is strictly finite? We are initiating the final protocol. Protocol decentralization. The fiat financial system is a closed loop with a negative sum for the player. If you keep your energy stored in their system, you will mathematically go to zero. It is guaranteed by the code. The only way to break the trap is to exit the loop. You cannot store your finite mortal energy in an infinite medium. To protect your biological time, you must transfer it into assets that obey the laws of physics. You need hard assets. Assets with a strictly limited emission. Assets that possess a hard cap and require actual, tangible energy to produce. Things that cannot be arbitrarily expanded by a committee of men in suits sitting in a boardroom. Whether it is scarce physical property, rare commodities, or decentralized digital networks that are mathematically locked against inflation. You have to find a thermodynamic shield for your life's work. Look at your hands. Look at the clock. Your time is the only non-renewable resource in the entire universe. Once a second is gone, no central bank can print it back for you. Stop exchanging your irreplaceable life for printable illusions. Stop funding a system designed to extract your youth. Take back control of your source code. Data upload complete. If you are ready to claim administrator rights and decompile the rest of this matrix, subscribe to Quantum. End of transmission.